You think you know Stranger Things? Well, here's some things you may not have known about Netflix's throwback hit.
Will?
Will? Well, it's Will.
What have you done to my boy?
What?
Give me back
The show's creators, the Duffer Brothers, estimate that 15 to 20 networks passed on Stranger Things before Netflix picked up the show. Most producers and executives were hesitant to fund a show about children when children were not the target demographic of the show. Netflix bought the show within 24 hours of hearing their pitch. The Duffers wanted the monster on the show to be disconnected from anything, particularly religious, spiritual, or supernatural. This is because they don't believe in ghosts and instead opted to have the creature have a scientific origin from another dimension.
It's the Demogorgon. Oh, Jesus, we're so screwed if it's the Demogorgon.
It's not the Demogorgon. An army of troglodytes charged into the chamber.
Troglodytes.
Told you.
Only a handful of people saw the last cut of Stranger Things before it was released. There weren't even any test audience screenings. The only people who would watch the show before it was released on Netflix, producers Sean Levy and Dan Cohen, 21 Lap creative executive Emily Morris, and 2 or 3 Netflix executives. The show's creators credit its creative success to the small pool of input. Stranger Things was kept between just 6 and 10 episodes in length because the Duffer Brothers wanted to keep the story contained and not have any filler. They wanted the show to be as long as it needed to be and considered it to be more of an 8-hour movie than a TV show. This decision was also influenced by the creative success of several British shows like Sherlock.
How do I find you? What should I do?
The title sequence for the show was inspired by the titles of science fiction, fantasy, and horror films and books from the 80s. When pitching ideas for the title sequence, the Duffers pointed to several Stephen King books. The company that designed the title sequence, Imaginary Forces, was spun off from R. Greenberg Associates, the company that designed the titles for films like Alien, Altered States, and The Dead Zone. The work of Richard Greenberg, one of the co-founders of R. Greenberg Associates, was one of the direct inspirations for the title sequence. The Duffer Brothers directed only 6 of the 8 episodes of the show. Their producing partner, Sean Levy, directed episodes 3 and 4 because the Duffers had not finished writing the second half of the series. Levy volunteered to direct the episodes because he thought it'd be fun. In the first episode of Stranger Things, Dustin and Will race on their bikes. The winner of the race was allowed to take any comic from the other's collection, and Will claims that he will take Dustin's copy of X-Men number 134. The Dark Phoenix first appeared in this issue, and that character has a similar power set to Stranger Things character 11. Stranger Things was one of Netflix's most successful show launches, with more than 8.2 million people watching it within its first 16 days of release. This was more people than who watched Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Narcos, and House of Cards in their first weeks of release. Netflix CEO Reed Hastings said that the show was so successful that they, quote, would be dumb not to pick it up for a second season. The production team initially thought about making Stranger Things an anthology show, following new characters with a new cast and a new location every season. However, after creating the cast for the first season, they decided to continue following them in season 2 after just a short time had passed since the first season.
What do you think would make more money in a freak show? Midnight? Frog face? Or toothless?
I go with toothless.
I told you a million times. My teeth are coming in. It's called cleidocranial dysplasia.
I told you a million times.
And here's a bonus one. The first season of Stranger Things was completed just 1 week before it was released on Netflix. That's it for this episode of You Think You Know TV. Make sure you subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the latest movie and TV news on ScreenCrush.com.